Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had an awesome week and I hope that you're looking forward to a fantastic weekend. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. Hi Kanupriya, Simran, welcome viewers. Great to have you all here with me today for this IELTS Band 9 speaking part 2, talking about a piece of sports equipment today. So IELTS speaking part 2 can be about people, can be about places, events, ideas, or objects. And today we're looking at objects, sports equipment. So this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have tons and tons of information to help you pass your next IELTS exam with flying colors. That means high band scores. Welcome Arda, Calvin, Laura, Sandra, Rashika. Good to have our members in here with us today. Students, we do have help for you to do well. Here's a discount code. We have 1 day left, 1 day only left on this discount code. The code is IScore9, and you simply go to our websites. This is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com. You click this red button to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. You do not need to pay each month. Once you click on that, you click use coupon code, you enter iScore9, and there you are, 25% off our already well-priced course with lots of video lessons, strategies, tips, apps for your phone. We've got original practice exams, lots of audio, so tons there for you. Same with the general IELTS. Click this red button right there, join the premium package. Students, we will be using these websites today to do speaking. So you get to practice your speaking for free on these websites with other IELTS students. And today you'll get a chance to practice with me as well. If you have questions about our products, websites, apps, about the IELTS, about English, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. I will gladly get back to you in short notice. All right. Pushpendra, I see that you gave your speaking exam today and you feel that it went great. Awesome. That's superb. I hope that you get a great score. Please do share it with us once you get it. Okay. All right, Wonder Kittle, I am here to help you. Students, we've got classes today and tomorrow, so we'll have reading and speaking for everyone. And now let's get into our IELTS speaking part 2. Here is our cue card. Okay, everyone, so IELTS speaking part 2, it comes after part 1, of course. Part 1's about 5 minutes, maybe not even 4 minutes in duration. And then the examiner will say, okay, that is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For this part, I'm going to show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to look at these questions, think about your answers. You can take notes in the 1 minute if you wish. You have some note paper and a pen in front of you. And then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. And your 1 minute preparation time begins now. They'll read the first sentence. So they'll say, talk about sports equipment you own. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. They show you this booklet. They'll tell you not to touch it. There's still COVID rules. They don't want you to touch the booklet. You'll be wearing a mask, but that's exactly how it goes. Okay? All right. So let's get into this. Let's talk about what you need to do to get that high band score. And I'm going to ask some questions because I think some of you are starting to know what to do, how to do it. Okay, so step number 1, and I'm going to put this at the top, is always to read the question super duper carefully. Okay, so read the question carefully. You have to really understand the question correctly. Okay, so here we go. Let's read this together. IELTS speaking, part 2. Talk about a sports equipment you own. You should say, what is the item and where did you get it? How do you use this sports object? Why is it important to you? And when is the last time that you used it? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. Okay, so what is the item? Where did you get it? 2 questions right there. How do you use this sports object? That's the 3rd question. Why is it important to you? That's the 4th question. And when is the last time that you use it? That's the 5th question. So there are 5 important questions to answer here. Okay. Now, step 2 is to identify. Yeah, we'll leave it huge like that. Step 2 is to identify the category, which we already did. Okay, so it's an object, in this case, sports equipment, and the tenses. Okay, so the verb tenses. Am I talking about this in the past, in the future, in the present? So what is this item? Where did you get it? Present and past. How do you use this sports object? Present, general, right? Why is it important to you? Mostly present again. When is the last time that you used it? Past. So the tenses are going to be past, present, and present perfect. Okay, you're doing that quickly. Step 2 should happen really fast. You should basically be doing step 2 as you're doing step 1. So as I'm reading the question carefully, I'm already thinking about, okay, I'm talking about an object, and I need to really focus on using the past, present, present perfect tenses to talk well about this. Okay. All right, so now I get to step 3. Oh, before I get there, object. If I'm talking about an object, what should I think about? This is very, very important. Okay, so if I want to tell another person clearly about an object, like sports equipment, what should I really be careful to include? Okay. All right, so Tatiana says, well, appearance, right? Absolutely. So what does that object look like? So if you're going to talk about your ice skates, what do those ice skates look like? Are they white? Are they blue? Are they pink? Okay. Do they come up to your ankle? Do they come up higher? Are they made of leather? Are they made of synthetic? So yeah, you want me to see that object, right, if I'm your listener. And Tatiana says origin is also important. Somebody's been doing their homework, Tatiana. Origin, yeah, where did you get it, right? It's even in the question. It says, where did you get it? When you think about these points, it really does make sense, okay? And then its function, yeah, so how does it work? Okay, if it's a pair of ice skates, obviously you put them on your feet. You have to tighten the shoelaces so that you get good ankle support. You have to make sure that you sharpen them, all right? Okay, its utility or usefulness, yeah, so how do you use it? So if you have a pair of ice skates, you take it to the skating rink every Saturday for 2 hours where you practice. Maybe you play hockey, maybe you figure skate, okay? And then your opinion, sure. So what's your thoughts around this item? I love my figure skates. They help to keep me healthy, and I have loads of fun every time I get together with my friends to play hockey. I'm from Canada. Tatiana, I know, is in Russia, so we've got some connection there in the world of hockey, I'm sure. That's why I'm using ice skates as the example for this. Okay, so when you're talking about an object, that's what you need to include. And in that order, as long as you talk about these points, the appearance, the origin, the function, the usefulness, okay, your opinion. Usefulness and opinion are kind of connected, but you can think about it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you'll do a really good job and you'll get a great score. Okay. So now comes important step 3, and we'll keep it jumbo for these important steps here in the font size. All right. Shahil's saying it's cold today in India. Well, maybe, Shahil, you can try out those pair of ice skates. Maybe it's not that cold, right? Okay, so step 3. What do I do? This is a really important one, and I want you to help me, remind me, what do I do in part 3, or step 3, sorry. Step 3. I don't want to confuse you. So step 1, I read the questions carefully. Step 2, I recognize that it's an object. I think about the tenses that I need to use. I know that, okay, appearance, origin, function, usefulness, right? And me says, come up with 2 to 3 ideas for this. Yeah. Okay. So help me out here. Give me some sports equipment ideas. So what are some, I'm sure all of you have some sports equipment. I think this would be a great cue card to get. Make sure that when you think about 2 to 3 ideas, good ideas, stay away from difficult answers. I would probably stay away from ice skates unless I really knew the vocabulary and the terminology around ice skates, like the blade of the ice skate or the ice rink, because it's not an ice court or it's not an ice field, right? So you have to know some special vocabulary if you're talking about ice skates, and so too with other types of sports equipment. So make sure you can talk about it. If you don't, choose something simpler like basketball or a football, right? Okay. All right, so make sure you have the vocabulary. You can talk lots. And try to be original. So if you chose a football, you know, football is the beautiful game. A lot of people play it. Probably going to be a very, very popular answer. Okay, so we've got some ideas coming here. Tatiana says dumbbells. Yeah, dumbbells could be good. A lot of people have home gyms these days with COVID especially. Okay. Amrinder says badminton racket. Yeah, tennis racket, badminton racket. Tatiana says maybe rollerblades. Okay, Cass says swimming goggles. Sure. Could be. Yeah, swimming goggles. Why not? I think that's a great idea, actually. Okay. Calvin, headphones to watch video games? No, and I definitely wouldn't go down the path of esports. Okay. It's kind of weird. Okay. Arta says sneakers. Yeah, why not? Running shoes, right? Running shoes are sports equipment. Jyoti, yoga mat. Very good. I like it. Why not? Yoga mat. I wouldn't go with a tent, Tatiana. I think that's, you know, not the best. Bakrat says a cricket helmet. Okay, yeah, it could be a cricket helmet, sure. So, piece of safety equipment for sports. All right. Backpack for hiking, Tatiana, could be okay. Yeah. I think, you know, there are some simpler ones, so there could be bicycle, yeah, as well. Maybe you own a bicycle. Bicycle is probably going to be a popular answer as well. Okay. Nitesh says football boots. Why is that a mistake? So, football boots, and this is what I mean. Sometimes you have to be really careful. Football boots would be a mistake. Why would football boots be a mistake? If you talked for 2 minutes about football boots, I guarantee that you are going to drop your band score for your IELTS speaking by at least one band, if not more. And I don't want to scare you, but this is the reality of it. So you do have to be really careful. Why are football boots, and I want to teach you this because I want to make sure that nobody says this in their part 2, why are football boots going to get you a low mark? Joaquin says because it's not a sports equipment. It is a sports equipment. There's something else that's wrong with it. They are sports equipment. Okay, so why? They are a piece of sports equipment. That's right, Cass. Cass is like, they're not called football boots. They're called football cleats. Yeah, I don't even know the spelling of them. I never write the word. Cleats, yeah, like that. They're called football cleats. Okay, so you have to know the vocabulary. If you call them football boots, I never write the word, but I know that they're called football cleats. Okay, so be careful. They're not called football shoes. They're not called football boots. They're called football cleats. All right. Yeah, now a lot of you are getting it and you're like, ooh, okay. Right? Just imagine you're talking 2 minutes about football boots and that poor guy, that examiner, is going to have a hard time not laughing. They're going to be maybe holding back that smile listening to football boots for 2 minutes. Okay? All right. So careful. I love yoga mat too. If I were, honestly, if I had these thoughts and I actually own a yoga mat, I think yoga mat would be fantastic. Okay, because I think there's a lot of really good vocabulary there that we can talk about. And I think swimming goggles would be good as well. Let's go with yoga mats. I don't think that we've ever chosen that as a topic. So let's do yoga mat today. Okay. I think a lot of people own yoga mats these days. They seem to be a very, very popular piece of sports equipment. So let's do yoga mat. Okay, so appearance. Okay, and notice I think it's fairly easy to talk about. I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about it, and I think there's a lot of content there. Okay, so I think that we can talk lots about it. Okay, so let's do yoga mat. Now, the next, so whoever came up with yoga mat, good for you. That was a good pick. Okay, that's definitely a top pick there, yoga mat. And that's your next step. Okay, so that's your step 4, is write down some useful notes. And I bet you we're going to end up with lots here because yoga mat really is a good one to talk about, some useful notes. Okay, so Mit Patel says it's soft and squishy. It's made of rubber. Calvin says rubber. Okay. Natural rubber, right? Let's say that. Tatiana says rectangular. Okay. Well, maybe it's 1 meter by 2 meters. Okay, you don't have to overdo it. All right. Calvin, you don't need to know the exact size of your yoga mat. Nobody's going to be like, well, I don't think you're telling me the truth, Calvin. I'd like you to bring in this yoga mat tomorrow to the IELTS test center, and I'm going to measure it because I believe that it's actually 1 meter 80 centimeters and not 2. Nobody's going to do that. So if you say it's 1 meter by 2 meters, okay, it's 1 meter by 2 meter yoga mat. That's totally fine. Okay. Mitt says it's soft. Okay, maybe it's about 4 millimeters thick, right? Thickness of yoga mats is important as well. All right. Yeah, 30 by 40 centimeters would be a very small yoga mat, Art, I agree. Okay. It's blue. Sure. And pick a brand. It's name brand. It's Nike. Okay. I know Nike makes yoga mats. So it's anti-slip, says Cass. Sure, don't overdo the appearance. Origin, where'd you get it? When did you get it? Okay. Okay, a year ago at a sports store. Or you ordered it online from Amazon. Sure, could be. Okay. All right. Function. How do you use it? Okay, so some useful notes. Again, snap, snap. So you're going to be quick with the notes, right? About 30 seconds when you do this. So how do you use the yoga mat? Okay. Yeah, you might want the price too. Okay, maybe you paid like 50 bucks. Sure. Drew says you sleep on this mat. I don't think you do sleep. I don't think you sleep on it. Arta says you exercise on it. Sure, exercise is fine. That's more of the utility. Okay. Cass says it's for floor exercises. Pama says it's for meditation. Let's not confuse function with utility. Okay, utility is its usefulness, but how is it used? So just imagine that I'm an alien, and this is one of the points that a lot of people confuse when talking about an object is function with utility. So how do I actually use it? Imagine I'm an alien and you're showing me a yoga mat, okay? And I'm like, okay, well, what do I do with it? Right? Okay. Let me see if I can give you a bit of help here. Just give me 2 seconds here, okay? I'm going to see if I can help you out with this. All right, everyone. So there's my yoga mat. There you go. There's my yoga mat. Let me see. There you go. What do I do with this? I'm an alien, and I'm like, What do I do with it? Okay, so how does it actually function? Okay. Tina says, oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so, but what do I do with it? Let's see. Yeah, Evan Borthwick says, first we roll it out on the floor. Okay, so roll it out, roll it up, carry it, okay, clean it, right? Yeah, no, I was telling you the truth. I actually do have one, okay? All right, so you roll it out on the floor. Make sure the floor is clean. You center it on the floor, right? Make sure the floor is flat, okay? Ideally, it's not good to use a yoga mat on a surface that's not flat. Okay, and then it's utility, right? So exercise, stretch, meditate, okay? Safe, right? So we use yoga mats so that we don't slip. If you ever tried doing yoga without a yoga mat on a slippery surface, you know that it's dangerous, right? And for mental, physical health. Okay, and I love my yoga mat. It helps me with all other kinds of sports. So when I go to play hockey or when I go for a run, I always start with some yoga because it helps me to stretch and be safe and ready for those sports, right? So opinion, love it. Okay, all right. You don't have to go overboard. So once you get rolling with your notes, you've got some good ideas. You've got all these ideas here. Now, your next step, step 5, is to get your first sentence ready. It's a very important one, students. So get your first sentence ready. Yeah, Romaine, you might use it for relaxation. You lay it on the floor. It's another nice way to say it. Okay, get your first sentence ready. When you get your first sentence ready, use the topic statement of the cue card. Okay? So one of the big mistakes that many students make in part 2 is the IELTS examiner says, okay, your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And people are like, what do I do? Oh yeah, okay. There are lots of different kinds of sports equipment that I really like and that I have. So you can't do that, okay? You have to have your first sentence ready and you use the topic of the card for that. So here, the question is, talk about sports equipment you own. And I highly recommend using the verb own or even use sports equipment in your first sentence. Okay, so we can start with that. Here we go. This is my first sentence. One piece of sports equipment in my possession. I'm going to do a little bit of paraphrasing here that I really love is my Nike. It's not actually Nike. Can't remember what the make is, but anyway, Nike. Sure, Nike yoga mat. Okay. So there you go. That's your first sentence, and then you're ready to go. Zuhra says, I want to talk about a yoga mat, which I purchased in a sports store about a year ago. Zuhra, that's not bad. You don't have to say, I want to talk about. Just talk about it. So I am talking about a yoga mat. So I will talk about a yoga mat, okay? Just be direct, okay? Bakrat says, an equipment that I frequently use for stretching exercise in the morning is my yoga mat. Yeah, make sure, Bakrat, that you mention that you own it. You have this. Okay? Okay, so always directly answer that topic statement in the cue card. Okay? Rashika says, the sports object which I have been using for maintaining a healthy lifestyle is my Nike yoga mat. Sure, okay? And again, be direct. I own it. I purchased it, okay? So now we talk about what it looks like, and we had it in our notes here. We might want to look at our notes. Hopefully we remember this, okay? So it is a rectangular mat about 1 meter wide and 2 meters long, made of natural rubber and roughly 4 millimeters thick. Okay, it has an anti-slip surface and rounded corners. Its color is blue. And instead of just saying blue, always, like when you're practicing for part 2, always look for good descriptive language. So instead of saying blue, I can describe blue. What are some common blue colors in English? So instead of just saying it's blue, what kind of blue is it? There are some blues, some different kinds of blue. So Andre says it's sky blue. Kelvin says it's bright blue. Okay, Amrinder says it's navy blue. Very good. Cass says it's maybe just teal. Okay, all right. Navy blue is good. Ani says dark blue. Yeah. Using navy blue is good because that's a nice piece of vocabulary, right? So you're pushing those vocabulary marks, okay? So its color is navy blue. Whenever I use my yoga mat, I first find a flat, even surface, usually in my living room or at my local gym. I carry my mat rolled up with a strap, and I roll it out, making sure it is straight and even. Okay, sure. So how I use my yoga mat, right? Of course, I take my shoes and socks off before standing on the mat for both safety and for avoiding damage. All right. Okay, so remember, like you tell an alien how to use it, right? So its function, the way you use the mat. Okay, whenever I use my yoga mat, I first find a flat and even surface, usually in my living room or at my local gym. I carry my mat rolled up with a strap and I roll it out, making sure it's straight and even. Of course, I take my shoes and socks off before standing on the mat for both safety and for avoiding damaging the mat. All right, good. So you're telling me how to use it. All right. And you can say it in so many different ways, like Voiger says for not slipping. Okay, you don't need to say for not to slipper my legs. For not slipping, just keep it simple, Voyager. For not slipping. Okay. All right. So now I might want to check the questions every now and then to make sure that I'm answering them. So what is the item? Where did you get it? How do you use this sports object? Okay, so I haven't really answered this, where did I get it, right? How do I use the object? I'm starting to get into that, and I'm paying attention to these. You have to answer all the questions, okay? So here, I'm going to make a connection. So ever since I got my mat about a year ago from Kirby's Sports for about 50 bucks. I've been using it at least 3 to 5 times each week for meditation, exercise, and stretching. Okay. I usually spend about 30 minutes to an hour on the mat each time. So I'm just going along here, and follow with me, and hopefully you're speaking, you're repeating as I'm typing. Artist says, I make sure I take off my socks because I want to be clean, and for that, I clean the mat after I use it for exercise and meditation. Yeah, you're cleaning the sweat. Kyber says, keeping writing but no feedback, losing motivation. I'm not sure what's going on there, Kyber. Why are you losing motivation? Don't lose motivation. See, I just read the fact that you're losing motivation instead of reading a good opinion or a good sentence. Arda says, I bought it a year ago online from Nike's official website. It arrived in a week, and I started using it. Very good, Arda. Okay, Amrinder says, I purchased it from a local sports shop a year ago when there was heavy discounts going on. All right, good. Yeah, so making it original, Amrinder. That's good. Right? So you got it for 50% discount. Very nice. All right. Kyber says, I got this. Not I've got this, Kyber, but I got this. I got this soft yoga mat from one of the sports stores located in Cartier, now downtown. Whenever I want to use my yoga mat, I need a flat surface, as I find this place only in my bedroom. Careful, Kyber, not to misuse the present perfect. Okay, Good. Don't get lost in too many little points like, Tina, you wash my mat every 3 or 4 days or wash the mat. It's okay. Don't get too lost, okay? All right, so I usually spend about 30 to 40 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour on the mat each time. The mat is very important to me as it helps me to stay fit both mentally and physically. It decreases the impact on my joints and muscles when I'm exercising because of the soft, spongy surface. It also saves me from slipping and injuring myself. Okay. Exercising, anyway. Okay. Service. Exercising. All right, so I'm moving along quite nice, and I'm answering all the questions. And again, remember to always take a moment, reflect on the question. So why is it important to you? When is the last time that you used it? In fact, the last time I used my mat was just this morning for stretches and meditation to alleviate some exam stress before coming here. Right? Connect it. Why not? In fact, they probably would do that. So if I were sitting the IELTS exam, I might take out my yoga mat and do about 20 to 30 minutes of stretches just to kind of clear my head, maybe do a bit of meditation. And if you're doing the sit-down part of the IELTS exam where you're sitting for 3 hours, it might be a really good idea to do 20 minutes of stretches before you do that, right? Okay. So here's my answer. I'm feeling good about it. I think I've answered all the questions on the card. Let's do this together, everyone, and then I'm going to give you a chance to pick your own sports equipment and do this with me together, okay? All right, so here we go, everyone. Let's take a look at this card again. So talk about sports equipment you own. What is the item? Where did you get it? How do you use this sports object? Why is it important to you? When is the last time that you used it? Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. One piece of sports equipment in my possession that I really love is my Nike yoga mat. Okay, everybody, I hope you're repeating, not just listening. So repeat and speak, okay? Let's start from the beginning again, just in case. I got this weird feeling like lots of people weren't actually repeating me. So let's just go from the top one more time. Okay, here we go. One piece of sports equipment in my possession that I really love is my Nike yoga mat. It is a rectangular mat about 1 meter wide and 2 meters long, made of natural rubber and roughly 4 millimeters thick. It has an anti-slip surface and rounded corners. Its color is navy blue. Whenever I use my yoga mat, I first find a flat, even surface, usually in my living room or at my local gym. I carry my mat rolled up with a strap, and I roll it out, making sure it is straight and even. Of course, I take off my shoes and socks before standing on the mat for both safety and to avoid damaging the mat. Ever since I got my mat about a year ago from Kirby's Sports for about $50, I've been using it at least 3 to 4 times each week for meditation, exercise, and stretching. I usually spend about 30 minutes to an hour on the mat each time. The mat is very important to me as it helps me to stay fit both mentally and physically. It decreases the impact on my joints and muscles when I'm exercising because the soft, spongy surface. It also saves me from slipping and injuring myself. In fact, the last time I used my mat was just this morning for stretches and meditation to alleviate some exam stress that I had before coming here. Okay, your time is up. I will take back the cue card. Now I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions on this topic. Students, are you ready? It's going to be your turn to do this. Okay, so fun times ahead coming up. Part 2, you're going to get a chance to volunteer and talk about either the yoga mat, so you can repeat the same just with your own words, or you might want to brave it and choose a different piece of sports equipment. Okay, so if you felt that I was maybe rushing a little bit, I tried not to, but it's also because I want to give you the opportunity to volunteer for speaking following these steps. First, register a free or paid account at aehelp.com. It doesn't matter if it's free or paid, up to you. I recommend buying the course, but I can't twist your arm to do it. Go to My Student Account. In your My Student Account, click on Student Partner Speaking. Okay, guys, girls, don't be clicking on the Messenger icon. That's just to ask questions from our admins. You want the Student Partner Speaking. Enable your microphone. So when your browser says, do you want to let this website use your microphone and your speakers? You have to say yes, okay. Okay, I can't hear you and you can't talk to me if you don't. Keep the window open and then message me in the chat. You'll see me come up as master. There'll be a blue envelope and you just want to write, I want to volunteer. And I have a good feeling about this. I have a feeling that there's some brave souls out there who are going to do this, okay? So here we go. Let me show you in actual fact how to do this. Here is the Academic IELTS Help website. Okay, it'll look like this for you. Just pause that video. Join the premium package by clicking the red button. It's paid, or click this little green button, the try demo, and then create a user. It's very simple, very easy. Click on My Student Account at the top. And then once you're in the My Student Account and the tour, you don't need to do the tour right now, do the tour later. And then right above my head is the Student Partner Speaking. If you like that, you can book a full practice exam there, the yellow button. But the Student Partner Speaking there, Student Partner Speaking, accept the terms, enable your microphone. So mine's already enabled, it's not asking me, but it will ask you. It'll say, you know, do you want this website? It's like a chat. It's like using Skype, or it's like using WhatsApp or Messenger. So it's same idea. You have text, you have video, you have audio. We're using the audio only today, so no video because I'm using video for YouTube. Okay. And Calvin's volunteering, Cassandra's volunteering, which is awesome. So Calvin's like, I'm game. All right, Calvin, that sounds great. All right. Okay, so are you ready? Calvin was so quick out of the gates. Definitely want to give a chance there. So Calvin says, I want to volunteer. Let's do this. Okay, Calvin says, yes, sir. Awesome, Calvin. Let me call you. I'm excited.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Calvin. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing very well also. It's good to hear that you're doing fantastic there, and I've got you in both ears. Awesome. So Calvin, I know you've been with me the whole class, so you know clearly what's going on. Okay, I'm going to go back to the cue card question so that you can see it. And there it is. And then I'll give you a chance to give a response here. Now, I can't give you the full 1 minute of silence. I'll give you just a few moments to get going. Okay, so whenever you're ready, here's the cue card, and I'll give you feedback after you finish, okay? So talk about a sports equipment that you own. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking, Calvin.
Okay, since I more often go to the gym, I rarely have any sports equipment at home, but I do have a yoga mat with me. It is actually violet in color. I know it's not my favorite color, but I got it because it's the last available color options that I could buy. The size is around 2 meters in long and also 1 meter in length, and I think the thickness is around 5 millimeters. That's why I find it very comfortable, and it's very thick. Yeah, I bought it from the online shopping store that I frequently use. It's called Shopee. I got it from a Black Friday discount, so it was very cheap, around 100,000 Indonesian rupiah. And yeah, I usually will prepare my yoga mat and then laying down on the floor and then just exercise. Like this morning, I woke up at around 5 a.m. and I decided to train my core and legs. So that's why I put my yoga mat, to prepare for a busy day at work. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop you there. Your time is up. I will take back the questions, and now we will continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question connected to your response and some questions on this topic. Okay, Calvin, not bad. Okay, not bad. I think that was a solid 6.5, 6 to 6.5. Okay, it's that range. It's the 6.65 range. Okay, and I'll reflect on why it is that. Okay, you had fairly good structure. So you talked about the yoga mat. You described its appearance a bit. You talked a little bit about when you use it. You answered most of the questions on the card. You explained when was the last time that you used it. So that was good. You had good. It's called. They're looking for task completion in part 2. So they are definitely listening for all of the questions to be answered. So that was pretty good. You had some good vocabulary as well. So you did use some higher level vocabulary to explain like what parts of your body you exercised recently using the mat. I think you said your lats and your core, and that was good. Okay, so that was nice. I'll tell you where you were missing some points. Okay, so at times you went a bit off topic, so you spoke in a bit of an irrelevant way. When you start your response, be really relevant. So your start was, since I more often go to the gym, I barely have any sports equipment. You don't want to start like that, Calvin. Okay, do you know why?
Maybe it's it's not something that written in the cue card.
It's not only that, but you're actually denying the cue card. It's like the cue card saying like, talk about a sports equipment that you own, and you're basically telling me like, I don't own sports equipment, right? And that's,
Yeah.
even if it's true on the IELTS, that's a bad approach, because then the examiner in their head, they're like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one, right? You don't tell them the truth if that's the truth, right? Just go with it, right? I'm sure you own like running shoes or some small piece of sports equipment. So you never want to contradict the cue card in the IELTS, because that sets you up for a difficult position. It's like you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole after that. Okay, so so you want to start very directly, like I own a yoga mat which I take with me when I go to the gym. Okay, so start directly, right? And then you also mentioned it's violet in color, and then you started to tell me that it's not your favorite color. That's very irrelevant, right? Like I mean, I don't want to be rude, but it's like, who cares that violet's not your favorite color? And then you went off into why you bought that. So it's kind of like you're digressing into very external concept. You only have 1 to 2 minutes, so you need to really stay focused, okay? And then it's a part of your diction, but I recommend trying to minimize this in your speech, is the you know. A lot of students, a lot of people have this in their communication. It's the you know, you know. It's not considered good communication because I don't know, Calvin. I don't know about your life. I don't know about how you exercise. So telling me you know, it becomes awkward after a while. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so in professional communication, you want to avoid that. If you have that in your conversation when you're chit chatting with friends, that's okay. But definitely in the IELTS, you want to avoid that type of um, very colloquial, awkward communication. Okay, so my tips for you to improve your score, because I think you can. So I think your vocabulary and your grammar are good enough to get like a band 7 or 7.5. But to get that band 7 or 7.5, you want to be more direct, stay more on topic, and avoid those small nuances like you know. And then you'll get a higher band score by like half band to a band for sure. Okay?
All right, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much for volunteering, and make sure to practice that, record your responses, and then when you hear yourself doing this, try to do the exercise again and avoid that kind of language, okay?
All right. Thank you for the feedback, sir.
You are very welcome, Calvin, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend there in Indonesia.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye. All right, everybody give Calvin a bit of a pause. First out of the gates, very brave. Brave that part two. That was awesome. Okay, and I think the second person, I caught that out of my eye, was Cassandra. So Cassandra, I'm going to give you a chance here because you were the second one who volunteered and you're like, oh, I'm ready to go. Okay, so ready, Cass? All right, and again, pay attention to the feedback that I'm giving each student, everyone, because these mistakes are often shared and often repeated by many different students. We kind of hear that similar kinds of communication or language mistakes frequently from students, especially for part two. Okay, so let's see if Cass is still here and if Cass is ready. I did see that you were, I think, right after Calvin as soon as we got in here. All right, Cass says, I'm always ready. All right, I have to check, Cass. Okay, so here we go, Cass. Hi, Cassandra.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. All right.
How
Are
about
you?
how about you? How about you?
I'm pretty good. I think I figured out that problem that we had in the last class. It was a driver that needs to be updated, I think. So I'm kind of, you can probably feel that I'm all hyped up now that we won't freeze. So
Okay,
I'm
okay,
good.
sir.
Are you looking forward to the weekend?
Yes, but I'm working on the weekends.
Okay, fair enough. Keeping busy can be good too. Okay, so Cassandra, let's do this. I'm going to just repeat the topic again, and just like with Calvin, when you're ready, begin your response. Okay?
Okay. Can I use another sports equipment instead?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's your to your discretion. Okay,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay, so talk about a sports equipment you own. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Uh, I really love swimming. That's why this one piece of sports equipment that I possess is my Speedo swimming goggles. It is maroon in color. It weighs around 13 ounces. The straps are made of natural rubber that you can adjust the fitting with the width of your head and the nose bridge. Um, and then the lenses are made of polycarbonate material that it has an anti-fogging capability and scratch resistance so that you don't have any disturbances when you're diving or swimming. And it also has silicone gaskets that to keep suction on my face to avoid water leakage on my eyes. And I remember I bought this in Amazon last month on a sale for about $55. And actually I've been using it since I receive it on mail 2 to 3 times a week whenever I had swimming lessons, because personally I really wanted to take advanced lessons for swimming, such as perfecting it to be to be an Olympian. And then um, I think these goggles are very important to me because it aids my eyes for navigating while I'm swimming, and also it protects my eyes getting chlorinated water when I do some freestyles. And I think it's a very great piece of investment if you do serious or advanced swimming.
Okay, I'll stop you there. Your time is up. I'll take back the questions and we'll now continue with part 3. Please put the note paper and the pen to the side.
Okay.
Let's talk more about sports equipment. All right, so Cass, that was pretty good. At the end there, you were kind of rushing
Oh,
your
okay.
speech. You don't need to do that. So you don't need to
Okay.
rush in part 2. And I think that happens especially with a lot of high level students. Like, clearly you're a very high level user of the English language. You not only have a lot of vocabulary and grammar, but you also are a quick thinker and you have good communication skills, and that all comes through. So you would get a solid band 8 for that. Some examiners, I think, 8.5. Worst of days, it would be a 7.5. So very comfortable 8 for sure.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Um, you're taking all the necessary steps. You're not repeating information. You're giving new information. I think you can get a solid 8.5 as well if you just don't rush and you really just focus on A, B, C, D. So you this is what I would do differently if I were you to make sure that I'm getting a better score. Okay, so you started by saying, I really love swimming. That's why this one piece of sports equipment that I possess is my Speedo swimming goggles, which was great. Okay, so you introduced it right away. And then you gave a lot of details about what these goggles look like. So the material that it's made from, silicone gaskets. You talked about how it's scratch resistant, its color, and so forth. It's good, and I think you showed some really good lexical resource there, but probably a little bit less on the appearance. So
Okay.
about 50% of what you said, I think would have been enough, and then a little bit more focus on its actual utility for you.
Okay.
So by the time you actually got to telling me how you use it and how it's useful for you, you started to feel like you're running out of time, and then you started to really pick up your speed and rush your words, and that's not actually good communication, right? Because you have to think about your listener.
Okay.
So I would have gotten to that a little bit faster, and I would have spent more time saying, it keeps water out of my eyes so I can comfortably swim for 30 to 40 minutes. Of course, the public swimming pool has chlorine in it, so if water gets into my eyes, they burn and it hurts and it makes it less enjoyable. And I can clearly see in the water with these goggles, so I can avoid swimming into other people. Also, so that would have been a little bit better to focus on that a little bit more. But otherwise, overall, I mean, that was a very, very good performance. So just the balance
Okay.
of content. Okay. All right. And that's kind of to everybody. So before I let you go here, Cass, that's kind of to everybody. So when you're thinking about, uh, what is the right balance of how much you should focus, the out of the 1 to 2 minutes, about 60% of it should focus on why an object is important to you, or why this person is that way, or why an event is important. So that should be kind of the main context. Okay. All right, Cass, thank you so much for showing us a different piece of sports equipment to talk about, swimming
Okay.
goggles. And that's a great choice, by the way, a very, very good choice, swimming goggles. So,
Yes. Okay. I'll mind that functionality. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely, Cassandra. And I hope you have at least some relaxation on the weekend aside from work.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye, Cass.
Bye bye.
All right, that was Cassandra. Okay, good job. Give an applause for Cassandra. That was fantastic. She was really showing us how it's done. And yeah, that was the right order. So appearance, origin, function, utility, opinion about it. Okay, Tatiana, I want to give you a chance here as well. I know you've been really patient in the last couple classes and haven't had a chance, so I'm going to reach out to you as long as you're here. And Tatiana says, I'm the bravest of the bravest soul. Can I volunteer, please? All right, sure. Let's see if you're still here. So are you ready? Okay, and I think you are. All right, Tatiana, let's do this. So. All right. Hi, Tatiana.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing? Are you with me, Tatiana?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. And how are you doing today?
I'm great. I sheltered the cat. I'm enjoying your company.
Awesome. Okay, Tatiana. So, same idea as with Cass and Calvin. I'm just going to introduce the topic of the cue card again, and then I'll let you begin when you're ready, okay?
Yes, sure.
All right, so talk about sports equipment you own. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
A piece of equipment in my possession is a nice, good quality Nike yoga mat. It is 1 meter wide and 2 meters long rectangular piece of rubber. It is 2 millimeters thick. It has a soft surface. It is also anti-slip. The color of my mat is navy blue. Whenever I use my yoga mat, I first find a flat, even surface to roll it out to make sure that I'm not gonna injure myself or to damage the mat. Usually I roll it out on the floor in my living room or in my local gym. I carry my mat rolled up and strapped. Before I step on my mat, I take off my socks and boots to be safe and clean, and I wipe the mat after the training. Um, I use the mat 3 to 4 times each week for meditation, exercising, stretching. I usually spend from 30 to 1 hour minutes on it. I just used this morning to elevate my stress before coming to this exam, and I got this mat as a present from my sister, who bought it a year ago from a Sports Master shop for $50.
Okay. Your time is up. I'm going to stop you there, and now we'll continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions on this topic. Okay, Tatiana, that was good. So, Tatiana, that was obviously, very similar to the answer that we covered in class, and you did a really good job.
But
Again,
I forgot importance.
yeah. So exactly. So so you had great fluency, great description, and it's kind of the same advice as with Cass. So you do want to get to that utility and importance a little bit faster if possible. Like even in my example, it's like, if anything, I can take a little bit off of the description and then go a little bit more into the utility of it. I like how you realized at the end, though, that you hadn't answered the question about where and when you got it. And then you realized, okay, I got to answer that. So it was a gift from my sister who got it from a sports store for $30. So you made sure that you put it in. And it's okay to do that. So oftentimes we get this question from students, like, do I have to answer the questions in the same order as they are on the card? And the answer is no, you don't. And sometimes it's actually very awkward to answer the questions in the same order as what you see on the card. So you don't have to answer them in the same order, but you should answer all of them. And you did a good job to realize that part of it for sure. Your band score would be about an 8 to 8.5 as well. I think for that you would most likely get an 8.5. you did have a couple of slight oddities in your language use. Like one that I really caught was you said, I usually spend 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2, and it was jumbled. Like it didn't really make grammatical sense there. And what you were trying to say is I usually spend 30 minutes to 1 hour each time.
To 1 hour.
Yeah.
I just mispronounced it. I didn't articulate it.
Yeah, it wasn't articulated clearly, and it was confusing. It was like, so what are you doing with how long are you on this mat for? So it's and when you have confusing language like that, even if it's just small pieces, it's virtually impossible to get a band 9 at that point.
Yeah,
Like
it
to get a
was
band
the
9,
question.
yeah, to get a band 9, your whole speaking, part 1, 2, and 3 have to be 100% coherent, basically. It's the only way. So you really want to, and again, how do you fix that, right? Slow down a little bit. You don't have to be that fast. You can slow down 10% and you're still natural and you're still band 9 fluent, okay? So 10% slower and then more.
Train timing.
Right, and more articulation. Okay, Tatiana, thank you so much though for showing us, how to do it with our class example in a very, very good way. That's awesome.
Thank you for your assessment.
You are most
It was
welcome.
great.
Keep it up, keep it up.
The volunteer.
Okay, bye Tatiana. Okay, that was Tatiana. So she was bravest of the brave soul. Give her an applause. Students, keep using the chat function. I have to go for today. I will be back tomorrow with speaking part 3. We will continue. But look, there's lots of students in here wanting to volunteer. So practice this part 2 with each other. Just because I'm not here doesn't mean you can't practice it. So you're here, you've got time. Invest the time, ping each other, click the blue button for another student and say, hey, do you want to practice this part 2? Well, there's so many of us here, and I'm sure somebody will be like, yeah, let's do it. You go, and then I'll go. And you will have this question here. You can, if you guys want to see this cue card question again, maybe take a screenshot, and then you have the question. But you can also see questions on the page as well. So there's the question again, okay? And you guys can do a screenshot of the question right now, and then you'll see the video in a little bit on the YouTube channel as well, okay? All right, everyone. Again, class is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. That's where you want to go, okay? For general IELTS, you want to go to gieltshelp.com, and you can use this discount code IScore9. There's only 1 day left, today and tomorrow, for this discount code to save that 25%. I will be back to hang out with you. I should take these off so I'm not screaming at you. And I will be back at the same time tomorrow and a little bit earlier for members with a reading exercise. Thank you so much to our volunteers. Thank you, members. Thank you, viewers. Have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.